Hello, my name is Sam Alexander, and today I'm talking to you about noun incorporation for Intro to Athabascan Linguistics. So the first question is, what is noun incorporation? Well, as I looked to find information on noun incorporation, I found myself falling down the rabbit hole of different arguments about whether or not noun incorporation really exists, what does it mean, and so I chose one definition I thought seemed to be fitting, and we'll go with that for this presentation. Noun incorporation is a process whereby nouns combine with verbs to produce a complex verb. From the articles that I've read in the scholarly journals I've looked at, you find noun incorporation throughout Athabascan languages. And so we're going to look at one of those Athabascan languages today and talk about noun incorporation. So in Gwich'in, you have noun incorporation. In the book Shanda, which is about an old lady named Belle Herbert, it's about her life story, and she mentioned something that is an example of noun incorporation. So in Shanda on page 38, she says, "It gwich'e nitse choda nai." And so you can see here where I broke it down, and it says now, place name, which is Fort Yukon, gwich'e, she's saying is for Fort Yukon, gwadza, to, and then your noun incorporated word, which is nitse choda nai. I broke those down and looked at each piece, and the nitse choda nai is maneuvering. The first part is maneuvering. The cho is the incorporated noun, which is boat, and then the dahnai is taking off. When I looked at the translation of that sentence, it was translated as he went to Fort Yukon with a boat. And there are a few other examples in Shanda where Belle Herbert incorporates cho into different verbs, mainly verbs of traveling. So cho meaning boat. Our next example comes from Nerihinchik, page 166. So on page 166 it says, "Gwijik chitag hanan daeta neto aha." So again, the literal translation is during, which is gwijik, during, up this way, and chitag hanan dai, struggling, to, ta is to, and then the ne toaha is repetitive object he walks. The translation was he was using his bow for a cane. So in a previous section in the story, bow was mentioned, and so it takes the place of a walking cane. And then in the translation, it was he was using his bow for a cane. And you can see below there, it says, ne tohaha, he's walking around a cane. That is a translation I found in the Alexander Dictionary for Gwich'in. So that's how they translated ne tohaha. But you can see the incorporation of the cane, which is to. So to is the incorporated noun. All right. So where does that leave us? Well, it's examining noun incorporation, which is quite challenging, and it's something that I think needs obviously a lot more research. There's quite a bit of research done in other languages when it comes to noun incorporation, but what I'd like to see is a little bit further research, and I have some of those research topics, questions listed here. So further research would be, both those examples have objects incorporated, but can subjects be incorporated as well? In the readings that I've done, you see quite a bit, I guess, of an asymmetry when it comes to object-subject incorporation, with the majority of the incorporations being objects. I haven't come across any where subjects are incorporated, but that doesn't mean it can't occur in Gwich'in as far as I know. What are the rules that govern noun incorporation which N? How would you go about incorporating objects, and are there limitations as to what objects can be incorporated? So those are some more questions. And are there more recent examples of noun incorporation? As in, are there examples of noun incorporation with words or with nouns that don't have a which N name? So in our two examples, we had cho, which is boat, and then we had to, which is cane. Is there examples of noun incorporation with words, maybe something, an English word like pencil, or could be car, or something to that effect, although there are which N words for those two examples. So that's something else to research as well. And so as I've looked at noun incorporation, I really haven't seen too many examples of noun incorporation which N, at least in newer texts, and so I don't know if it's something that's fallen out of the language or that it's something that people don't know how to use. Again, more research needed to be done. But I thought noun incorporation is pretty interesting, how it's being used in the examples that I have seen, and something I'd like to do further research on. And here are my references for noun incorporation. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed this presentation.